Good morning, class. So today we will study the plant kingdom, that is chapter 3. The topics which are covered in this chapter are algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms. Angiosperms has been cancelled. Then the plant life cycle and alternation of generations. Okay. तो ये जो अभी आपका नया सिलेबस आया है उसमें एंजियोस्पर्म्स कैंसिल कर दिया गया है एंड द एल्गी वी विल कवर्ड इन दिस total lecture. Okay, now in five kingdom classification, as we have learned earlier, that R.H. Whitaker in 1969 proposed the five kingdom classification, and the organisms are grouped into five kingdoms. Okay, and they are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. And we have discussed this earlier on the biological classification chapter. Okay, now the plant kingdom are also classified into various types. The first type is the artificial type, and second is the natural, and third is the phylogenetic. In the artificial system, the classification is based on the morphological characters. Few of the morphological characters are counted and they are thus assigned in the plant kingdom. Okay. The second is the natural system, in which the characters are classified, all the important related characters are classified. Okay, these characters can be external or this can be also the internal. Okay, then the third is the phylogenetic system, in which the evolutionary relationship of plants are mainly considered. Okay, now there are various taxonomical practices that are mainly used in nowadays. First is the numerical taxonomy, which is now easily carried out using the computers. So what happens in numerical taxonomy? The numbers and codes are assigned to all the characters and data. Characters and data are then processed. In this way, each character is given the importance. ठीक है, तो हम इसमें क्या करते हैं, जितना भी हमारे पास डाटा होता है उसको एक कोडिंग दी जाती है, नंबर दिया जाता है, उसके हिसाब से फिर हम सबको असाइन करते हैं, डाटा को कलेक्ट किया जाता है and numerical taxonomy is then practiced. Okay, then the second part is cytotaxonomy. It is based on the cytological information such as chromosome number, structure and the behavior of the cell. Okay, तो इसमें हम क्या स्टडी करते हैं, जो भी हमारे सेल का बिहेवियर हमें देखने को मिलता है, उसमें क्रोमोसोम के नंबर देखने को मिलते हैं, उसका स्ट्रक्चर देखने को मिलता है, वो सारा कुछ हम साइटोटैक्सोनॉमी में स्टडी करते हैं. Okay, then we have the third, the chemotaxonomy. In the chemotaxonomy, it is based on the chemical constituents of the plants, such as nature of protein, DNA sequence, taste, smell, etc. Okay, so these are various practices that are used by the taxonomists nowadays. Now, the plant kingdom is basically classified into this hierarchy. As you can see in this hierarchy, the plant kingdom is divided into two groups, that is cryptogamy and phanerogamy. Cryptogamy are the non-flowering plants, phanerogamy are the flowering plants. Okay, then further the cryptogamy is divided into three major parts, that are thallophyta, bryophyta and pteridophyta. And the phanerogamy, that are the flowering plants, are divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. The thallophyta are further divided into bacteria, algae, fungi and lichens. And further the angiosperm, as you can see, they are divided into monocots and dicots. All these categories of plants you will study in the upcoming lectures. So today we will study about the algae, the main part, that is algae. Okay, so what is thallophyta? The thallophyta is the plant body is like thallus. Okay, जो उनकी plant की body होती है वो thallus like है. What is thallus? It is the undifferentiated plant body, है ना. जैसे हमारे higher plants में अगर हम देखेंगे कि जो उनकी प्लांट बॉडी होती है वो फुली डिफरेंशिएट होती है, स्टेम अलग होता है, ब्रांचेस अलग होती है, लीव्स अलग होता है, सब कुछ अलग होता है. बट इन थैलोफाइटा द प्लांट बॉडी इज अनडिफरेंशिएटेड, है ना, उसमें हमारा थैलस लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होता है. देन सेकेंड इज ब्रायोफाइटा, द प्लांट बॉडी that contains root like structure, stem like structure and vascular tissues are absent. So here you can see it is showing the root like structure, stem like structure. It is not a proper root or proper stem, it is root like structure, उसकी तरह दिखते हैं. Okay, then in the pteridophytes the plant body is differentiated into true roots, stem, एंड लीव्स, है ना. इसमें हमें प्रॉपर रूट्स, प्रॉपर स्टेम और प्रॉपर लीव्स हमें देखने को मिलते हैं. ओके, नाउ in this lecture we will study about the algae. What are algae? Algae are mainly the chlorophyll bearing simple thyroid autotrophic and large aquatic organisms, है ना. अगर हम देखेंगे these are various characteristics of algae. सबसे पहले तो algae में हमें क्लोरोफिल दिखने को मिलता है जिसकी वजह से वो ग्रीन होता है. ओके, these are mainly autotrophic in nature. They can prepare their own food, है ना. तो सनलाइट की हेल्प से अपना खाना वो खुद प्रिपेयर करते हैं. एंड दे आर मेनली द फ्रेश वाटर एंड मराइन ऑर्गेनिजम्स. आपको दोनों जगह में देखने को मिलेंगे. फ्रेश वाटर सच एज रिवर्स, लेक्स, है ना, स्ट्रीम्स. और आपका जो मराइन वाटर होता है वो आपका ओशंस एंड सीज. सो एल्गी कैन बी फाउंड इन द बोथ फ्रेश एंड मराइन वाटर्स. देन देयर आर अदर हैबिटेट्स वेयर द एल्गी आर फाउंड सच एज मॉइस्ट स्टोन्स, सॉइल्स एंड वुड. ओके, and some of the algae are also found in association with some of the other animals and plants, such as in association with fungi it is also called as lichen. Okay, and in association with animals such as in example of sloth bear. अगर आप sloth bear के example देखोगे तो उसमें आपके algae जो होते हैं वो sloth bear के ऊपर ही grow करते रहते हैं, उसके ऊपर ही चिपके हुए होते हैं. Okay, now these were the habitats where the algae are found. Now, how does the algae look like? The plant body of algae look like? They are mainly unicellular organisms, flagellated. Flagellated means they have a flagella which is helpful for their movement. जो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मूव करने में उनकी हेल्प करता है. Okay, such as for example Cladomonas. ठीक है. Some are non-flagellated such as Chlorella. Some are multicellular. Okay, some have colonial forms. वो अपनी कॉलोनी बनाते हैं such as in volvox. Some are filamentous forms such as Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Now these are some of the examples of green algae. In the first picture as you can see the Cladomonas, they are unicellular organisms, है ना, and they are also known as green algae. In the second you can see the volvox, they form a proper colony, है ना. So they show the colonial form. Then in the third picture you can see the Spirogyra which are multicellular green algae, and in the fourth you can see the Alva which are multicellular green algae. What are the nutrition that are seen in the green algae? They are mainly autotrophs, or we can say as that they are photosynthetic. They can prepare their own food. So most of the algae are mainly autotrophs. Okay, some of the algae are also heterotrophs, so they are parasitic forms such as for example Cephalurus. Okay, these are very rare cases in which you can see the algae in the parasitic forms. Okay, the pigments that are contained in the algae are chlorophyll A, B, C, D. Chlorophyll A, B, C, D. Then we can see the carotenoids also, keratin and xanthophylls, such as in brown algae, which is also known as fucoxanthin. Then the third we can see also the phycobilins in the form of phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. Then the reproduction which is seen in the algae are vegetative reproduction mainly. Vegetative reproduction is the reproduction using the vegetative parts, and that are mainly fission, fragmentation and budding. What happens in fission? When the part is divided into various parts, so each parts divide into new organism. Okay, the same happens in the fragmentation. When the plant body is divided into various segments, each segment grow into a new individual. And in the budding case, small buds arise from the plant which detach from the plant body and form the new organism. Okay, then the asexual reproduction, which involves without the fusion of gametes, and it is mainly processed by the zoospores within the sporangia. And in the sexual reproduction, it is performed by three processes. First is the isogamy, second is the anisogamy, and third is the oogamy. What is isogamy? Isogamy is the fusion of morphological and physiological similar gametes. ओके, तो आइसोगैमी में क्या होता है, सिमिलर गैमेट्स एक दूसरे के साथ फ्यूज होते हैं. ओके, सच एज फॉर एग्जांपल फ्लैजिलेटेड क्लेडोमोनास एंड नॉन फ्लैजिलेटेड स्पाइरोगैरा. Okay, then in the second part, that is anisogamy, what happens, the fusion of morphological or physiological dissimilar gametes. As you can see in the isogamy, there were similar gametes and the fusion of those similar gametes were happening, and in the case of anisogamy, the fusion of dissimilar gametes is happening. Okay, for example, morphological dissimilar example is cladomonas and physiological dissimilar is spirogyra. Then in the third sexual reproduction, that is oogamy, fusion of morphological and physiological dissimilar gametes. This also involves the fusion of dissimilar gametes morphologically or physiologically. For in this process, small motile male gamete plus large non-motile female gametes is fused. For example, in case of fucus and volvox. Now you will came to know about the all sexual reproduction types in this picture. In first step, in isogamy, as you can see, both the gametes are similar, है ना? As you can see that both contains the flagella. These are flagellated, है ना? And both are similar in shape and morphology. Okay. In the second part, that is anisogamy, here you can see the male and female are dissimilar. Okay. And third, you can see that male is small and flagellated and female is non-flagellated. Okay, so these are all the sexual reproduction that happens in the algae. Now, what are the economical importance of these algae? Near about 70 species of marine algae are used as a food. So we can use this marine algae as a food source. Okay, then there are certain marine brown and red algae that are लार्जली यूज कॉमर्शियली, ठीक है, जो इनको हम वाटर होल्डिंग सब्सटेंसेस के लिए हम इसको यूज करते हैं. देन वेरियस एल्गीज आर यूज्ड फॉर अगार पर्पसेस. अगार इट इज अ कमर्शियल प्रोडक्ट दैट इज डिराइव फॉर प्रिपरेशन ऑफ आइसक्रीम्स एंड जेलीज, एंड इट इज ऑल्सो यूज्ड इन फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ द माइक्रोब्स. ओके, देन वी हैव क्लोरेला दैट इज रिच इन प्रोटीन्स एंड इट इज ऑल्सो यूज्ड बाय द space travelers as a food supplement. Then mostly half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on earth is carried out by algae by photosynthesis. As you know that the photosynthesis is the process in which the plants make their own food. So algae contains the chlorophyll that helpful for the algae to prepare their own food. So mainly half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on earth is carried out by these algae. Okay, then it helps in the purification of air and water. Then they have the medicinal use, such as they are helpful for making the antibiotics such as chlorella and polycyphonia. Okay, then they are helpful in the biological research. Okay, chlorella and acidobulera. Okay, so these are some of the economical importance of algae. Now, the classification of algae. Algae are mainly classified into three types: chlorophyceae, phyophyceae, and rhodophyceae. And these classification are based on the basis of their pigments they contain, the structure they have. So mainly these are the main features. The algae are classified into three groups. First is the chlorophyceae. The members of the chlorophyceae are also known as green algae, as they contain the pigments that are chlorophyll A and B. As you can see, the pigments contains in the chlorophyceae is chlorophyll A and B. Okay, and the plant body of these chlorophyceae are unicellular, such as in case of cladomonas. They are also colonial forms, such as in volvox, and some are filamentous, such as in spirogyra. So as you can see, different shapes of the chloroplast in these green algae. This is ribbon shaped, ribbon and spiral shaped in spirogyra, as you can see in this picture also, है ना? These are ribbon shaped and spirally. You can see the spiral inside the this cell structure. Okay, this is the chloroplast. Then this is the cup shaped chloroplast. Here you can see this is the cup shaped chloroplast in the cladomonas. Then here you can see the disc shape. Okay, here. Okay, so these are disc shape in Caulerpa, and this is the reticulate chloroplast as in Oidogonium. So these are different shapes of chloroplast in the green algae. Now the food stored in the green algae is in the form of starch, okay, and some store in the form of oil droplets. So different types of food storage are seen in different types of algae. So in the green algae, the food is stored in the form of starch and oil droplets. Okay, peridinoids, which are the storage bodies, are also present in the green algae. Cell wall is made up of inner layer of cellulose and outer layer of pectose. So cell wall in these green algae are made up of cellulose and pectose. Okay, the members produced by vegetative फ्रेगमेंटेशन है ना, जैसे अभी हमने देखा था कि एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में फ्रेगमेंटेशन के द्वारा इसमें रिप्रोडक्शन होती है, एंड बाय ऑल्सो द फ्लैजिलेटेड zoospores, and sexually by isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy, as we have discussed earlier. Okay, so common green algae are chlorophyceans are Cladomonas, Chlorella, Volvox, Julothrix, Alva, Caulerpa, Chara and Acetabularia. Okay, now the second part of algae is Phaeophyceae. These are also commonly known as brown algae. These are found in all the marine habitats. Okay, the plant body of Phaeophyceae is simply branched, filamentous as in Ectocarpus, and profusely branched forms such as in Kelps. Okay, they attain up to 100 meters. So ये छोटे से छोटे भी होते हैं और बहुत बड़े से बड़े भी होते हैं. They are also known as giant algae. Okay, so they can attain the height of 100 meters also. Okay, the pigments that are found in the Phaeophyceae are chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. अगर आप देखेंगे आपका क्लोरोफाइसी में आपको कौन कौन से देखने को मिल रहे थे, ए और बी, और इसमें पिगमेंट्स आपको देखने को मिलेंगे ए, सी, कैरोटिनॉइड्स एंड xanthophylls. ओके, एंड द फूड स्टोर्ड इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लेमिनेरिन एंड मैनिटोल, है ना. उसमें देखा था आपको स्टार्च के फॉर्म में और ऑयल ड्रॉपलेट्स के फॉर्म में आपने स्टोर कर रहे थे, लेकिन इसमें किस फॉर्म में, लेमिनेरिन और मैनिटोल, विच इज ऑल्सो द कॉम्प्लेक्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स. ओके, सेल वॉल इज मेड अप ऑफ सेल्यूलोज एंड इज कवर्ड बाय जिलेटिन कोटिंग कॉल्ड एज एल्जिन. ओके, तो एल्जिन से हमारी इसकी सेल वॉल बनी होती है, एंड द आउटर पार्ट इज अ फाइलोकॉइड एंड दे प्रिवेंट द थैलस फ्रॉम ड्राइंग इन द लो टाइड. तो उसको वो क्या करता है, ड्राई होने से बचाता है. एंड द सेल कंसिस्ट ऑफ सेल ऑर्गेनेलीज एंड सेंट्रली इज द वैक्यूल विच हेल्प्स इन द थैलस टू फ्लोट. तो इसके बीच में हमें एक वैक्यूल भी देखने को मिलता है जो इसको किस लिए हेल्प करता है, इसको पानी में फ्लोट करने में हेल्प करता है. ठीक है, सो these were the mainly Phaeophyceae plants. ठीक है, इनकी जो बॉडी होती है, they are generally divided into 3 parts. First is the fixing structures called as the holdfast. As you can see also in the picture, this fixing substance is known as holdfast. Okay, then we have the stalk-like structure called as stipe. ये पतला सा देखोगे अगर आप, this is the stipe. Okay, then the leaf-like structure, this is the above part, it is called as frond. Okay, so the body of the Phaeophyceae is divided into 3 parts. Then the reproduction, how the reproduction is happens in Phaeophyceae. The vegetative reproduction is mainly by fragmentation. As you can see कि fragmentation में हमारे जब भी प्लांट टूटते हैं तो वो नए इंडिविजुअल में ग्रो कर जाते हैं. Okay, and asexual by biflagellated zoospores which are mainly pear shaped with 2 flagella attached laterally. जो आपका पेयर शेप में होता है और उनमें 2 फ्लैजिला आपके प्रेजेंट होता है, उनके द्वारा ही हमारे एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में देखने को मिलती है. सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन कैसे होता है, बाय द फ्यूजन ऑफ गैमेट्स. ओके, एंड बाय द दीज 3 प्रोसेसेस, है ना, एज जो हमने आगे पढ़े थे. सो गैमेट्स आर ऑल्सो द पेयर शेप विद 2 लेटरल अटैच्ड फ्लैजिला. ओके, एंड द कॉमन एल्गीज, brown algae are mainly Ectocarpus, Laminaria, Dictyota, Sargassum and Fucus. Okay, the third type of algae are Rhodophyceae, which are also known as red algae. Okay, these are mainly marine and rarely freshwater. ठीक है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मरीन होती है, बहुत कम हमें फ्रेश वाटर में देखने को मिलती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल Betracospermum. Okay, they occur in well lighted region and also in the depth of oceans. अगर आप इनका हैबिटेट देखोगे तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा ऊपर वाली सतह में भी आपको देखने को मिलेंगे एंड इन ऑल्सो द डीप ओशंस ऑल्सो. ओके, देयर थैलस इज मल्टी सेलुलर. ओके, एंड द पिगमेंट्स द रोडोफाइसी कंटेन्स आर क्लोरोफिल ए, डी, फाइकोएरिथिन. ठीक है, तो जो इसका रेड कलर होता है वो किसकी वजह से होता है? आर फाइकोएरिथिन की वजह से होता है हमारा रेड एल्गी में रेड कलर. ओके, एंड द फूड स्टोर्ड इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फ्लोरिडियन स्टार्च विच इज सिमिलर टू द एमाइलोपेक्टिन एंड ग्लाइकोडिन इन स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, तो सब में हमने क्या क्या देखना है? उसके थोड़े बहुत कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स देखने हैं, उसके पिगमेंट देखने हैं और उनका हैबिटेट देखना है. ओके, एंड द फूड स्टोरेज देखना है कि किस रूप में वो अपना फूड स्टोर करते हैं. ओके, एंड द रिप्रोडक्शन, द वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शन इज मेनली बाय द फ्रेगमेंटेशन. एसेक्सुअल कैसे करते हैं? बाय नॉन मोटाइल स्पोर्स. ओके, एंड सेक्सुअल बाय oogamie एंड हैज कॉम्प्लेक्स पोस्ट फर्टिलाइजेशन डेवलपमेंट. oogamie में हमने क्या देखा था कि फीमेल वाला जो गैमेट होता है वो बड़ा होता है विच इज़ अ नॉन मोटाइल, है ना, और जो मेल वाला होता है वो मोटाइल होता है बिकॉज दे कंटेन्स द फ्लैजिला. ठीक है, और वो स्मॉल होता है साइज में. ठीक है, सो द oogamie इज द मेन प्रोसेस which is carried out by the rhodophysi. The common red algae are Policifonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gelidium and Batracospermum. Okay, so these are mainly the types of algae. Okay, so हमने अभी एल्गी का चैप्टर ख़त्म किया है. एल्गी से रिलेटेड जो भी अगर आपको मेरे से पूछना है आप पूछ सकते हैं. इसके नोट्स बनाइए एंड डू लेट मी नो अगर कोई भी आपको डाउट हो. ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू क्लास.